our speaker, Sean Fitzgerald. You know him as an amazing award-winning photographer, but I think he's more than that. He is a creative advocate. He is a conservationist. He's a community leader, and I am so thankful that he's here to share with us his self-reflection on his own journey. So please give Sean Fitzgerald a warm welcome.
It's a real privilege to be here. He's surrounded by creatives who I love and respect. His work has constantly moved me. So what I want to do here, in 20 minutes, and then we're going to go at a pretty hellish pace, but I'll be available to answer questions. But what I want to do is, I'm a little spastic, so if I do this, what I want to do is kind of start off by telling you what I'm about to tell you and who the audience is for this, so that you can make that conscious choice whether to tune out online or take a nap here as you come off your sugar donut, your Krispy Kreme donut crash. Hang on for a couple minutes, and I'll try to tell you whether this will give you something you can actually use in your life. And so we're going to launch. It's a little reflection. I'm Sean Fitzgerald. I'm a photographer, and I would be remiss if I didn't do the first thing a good photographer does, which is delete something that's bugging me. Need something light to distract your eye. That's what we do, right? I mean, that's why we're kind of OCD. Yes, another artist too. Distracting thing. Yeah. So here we go. When we get to the questions, anything's fair game, because I'm getting pretty personal here with myself. So anything you want to ask it. We're talking about reflection. And as I started to think about this, this is what I want to do. My initial thought was, I'm going to go through all my catalog. Long history is kind of like stock photographer, editorial photographer. There are lots of images. I kind of started to go through that and think, well, I can talk about reflection as a visual metaphor. Very powerful. And, it's make sure I find the right button. So I started going through images, and I started finding some, looking through some stuff that I had published and this and that. And then I realized that I lost interest in this track after about 2 minutes of thinking about it. So I'm not doing that. We're not doing that. We're going to use reflection as sort of a vehicle for, honestly, self-examination. For a way to look at ourselves as healthy humans, hopefully. As artists, we're trying to progress in what is a gut-wrenching field. Our stock and trade is to turn ourselves inside out and then to show it to somebody and say, do you like it? Jesus Christ, that's why we all have anxiety. Seriously, we're all anxious and depressed. We go through these cycles. It's hell. It's tough. And we don't get I could go on. But I won't. Sorry for Jesus Christ. Blue collar, Irish, taught me how to cuss it. Very young. But that's the path we're on. And for those of you who are more on the management side, the people who are creative agents, people who want to build teams that communicate with each other, I did not know this when I started into it, but it is a very fertile field for helping build teams and helping build leaders. So that's our audience, that's our goal. Let's go. Now, as I started to think about that, it's like, do I do reflection? What am I going to talk about here? And I struggled a little bit, and then I realized I found a number. I found one number that said, wait, I've been doing this for years now. That was when I crossed to 50. When I became 50 years old, 3 things happened to me that have really made me start to think about where I've been and where I'm going. Because the train is getting closer, and that kind of starts to force a little bit more self-examination. The first one was, when I turned 50, I got my AARP card and layoff, which for you youngins is the American Association of Retired People. Let me tell you, that's a shock to the system. Seriously. I mean, you know, discounts are good though. That's, for return fresh and fruity discounts. Right on. Good. The second one was, for the first time in my life, the Grim Reaper started to come and harvest some of my friends. It's a wake-up call. When people who are my age are dying, just as they're starting to enjoy things, it's real. You know, it starts to make you reflect more. The third one was, trying to cry here. Oh, I'm not crying. No, not gonna cry. We're on the edge. This is my father's truck. Bought it in 1969 here in Dallas, Texas. Blue collar worker. So I'll get into this in a bit. Simple guy on his deathbed. As he's thinking about what was in his head as he starts to see the angels, or whatever it is he's seeing when he died. His thought was about sheet metal worker, very blue collar, very white, that era pretty racist. You had to be a white guy or you cause some deaths. And he was obsessed about whether he properly treated a black apprentice the right way. Looking back 30 years. Makes me proud of him. Just makes me proud of him. Okay? Now I'm over to cry. So back to my prayer. I knew this. I now have this mantra in my head. What do I want to look back on and be proud of when I die? Am I going to wish I had made X more dollars or jumped one more stage in my career? Am I going to look back on how I treated you and the difference I made? That's an eye-opener. And those things started to happen to me when I hit 50. So how do you get there? How do you do this and have reflection be a positive exercise as you try to not look back to the past but figure out how to move into the future? Not easy. So I started doing a little digging around. I didn't dig very far because I got bored, but I did. I went to Wikipedia. This is my own resource. Wikipedia. Self-reflection. Do not go to self-consciousness. That's something weird. Coffee on mushrooms. Don't go there. Go to self-reflection, and then I'll show you one other resource. They have a list, footnote 20-something, on the Harvard Business Review, this article, which I thought was really interesting, on what self-awareness really is and how to cultivate it, which I thought had particular relevance to me, as a visual artist, a human being, and somebody who does work with routines. So this one's worth actually reading for folks. So, I'm really going to distill this down to a handful of points that apply to me. The first one, if you're going to start on the path of self-reflection, is you have to be honest. If you are not honest with yourself in this process, then you're just chasing your tail. You're a dog chasing your tail, you achieve nothing, and you move nowhere. Not helpful. You've got to be honest, and that means you got to honestly look at some of your goals and some of the things that you don't really want to look at. The second thing, when you look in the mirror, what do you see? Are you Johnny Cash or are you in shadow? Are you a little bit in between? I like to think of myself as Johnny Cash, but a little short. They don't show the age again. The second thing is you have to have this process, you have to put this process on a healthy path. Because it's really easy when you look at yourself to start questioning all the decisions you made, and to amp up your anxiety, to feel defeated, to feel depressed. It becomes a negative exercise. You've got to keep it positive. You've got to find, I want to give you some tips on how to do that. But keeping it healthy is really critical. Now, a slight aside here, which I think is of some relevance to those of us in the media community, is our media has not done us any favors. It has not. Yesterday, I wore my Bruce Springsteen shirt, which said, "Only the strong survive." I love Springsteen. It's a really crappy message. Crappy message. Come on, Bruce. Just get on with it. And if you think back to our lit classes, Think back to Robert Frost. This is some of our responsibilities, people in this community, can maybe do a little bit better. Robert Frost, great poem. We probably studied it in English lit. I was an English minor, so yeah, I studied Robert Frost. Turn this poem inside out. 4 stanzas. Yeah, what is it known for? Yes. 2 roads converge in the wood, and I took one less travel, and that has made all the difference. Now, I'm going to come back to this. But what did pop culture turn that into? It turned it into a meme. Just go on and sing it. Good God. And it stands for the fierce proposition that I stand at these crossroads and I say, by God, I'm not going to be a conformist. I'm going to take the road less traveled and I'm going to conquer life. I'm going to take our show you. I'm going to blaze my own trail into the darkness. You know, you can take these cheesy metaphors all the way down. You want to grab a trail, you want to go. But, is that what Robert Frost really meant? No! This is life. We hit these treadheads and they tell us to go all different kinds of directions. We don't know. Half the trails end up in the same place anyway. We just go down and we go, oh, that wasn't great, I'll come back and do another one. Sometimes our trails are not accessible. This is a flood in the Great Trinity Forest. It's full of 4 feet of water. As artists, sometimes we can't go down a trail. We want to go down because we have to stay at this job because I can't afford to lose my health care. Because I have a sick kid. I have a sick mother. I cannot take this risk. You cannot go back and beat yourself up for choices. Roads not taken, and life is so much more complicated. Be fair to yourself. And if you go to Poetry Foundation, they got a really good analysis of this, which I thought was really interesting. That's really what Frost's message was. We missed it as a pop culture, and we reduced it to something that misses the mark. What he was actually saying was no matter which road you take, you will always sigh and wish you'd taken another. That should be on the poster. And see, here I come.
There you go.
So how do we do this? How do we do this? First off is you ask, you ask what, not why. Don't ask yourself, why didn't I do this? Why didn't I see this moment? Why didn't I take this opportunity? It's not fair. It's like, this thing. It's like this thing. Why didn't I do this? It's like I had a satellite puppet. You ask what? What can I learn from this? What did I do right? What did I do wrong? What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? What is it about me that makes me want to work a certain way? Those kind of questions are productive and they're non-judgmental. And that's where I would encourage you to do this. I also learned there's 2 types of self-reflection. One is internal self-reflection, where you ask yourself the question is how well you know yourself. It's understanding yourself and being honest about that. The second one is, I should say, not always easy. When we reflect ourselves in the mirror in the water, it's not easy to decipher what that is. This is the sacred river in the Ganges, which is amazing for reflection. The second one is external self-reflection, which is understanding how others see us. That was one that was not in my head, but then it kind of clicked. This is about working as part of a team. That's going to be a lot of problems to think about that, as I self-reflect. Now, in that aforementioned Harvard Business Review article, they come up with this chart. This is the only chart I promise I'm going to show you. It's this 4 self-awareness archetypes, where it goes, look down here, it goes from low, external self-awareness, how others understand how others see you, versus understanding yourself, from low to high. The first one is the seekers category. They don't know who they are, what they stand for, or how their team see them. And they can feel stuck and frustrated. The second one, there's low internal self-awareness, high external self-awareness. You're just a pleaser. You're so focused on appearances that you can overlook what matters to yourself. What your own goals are, what's important to you, what your values are, what statements you want to make, how you want to be remembered on your deathbed. That's kind of a bad deal, I think. The third one is introspectors, which is people who are clear on who they are but don't challenge their own views or blind spots by getting feedback from others. Now, my wife is here. She's the light of my life. I would have accomplished nothing, but literally, I'm useless with her. Amazing person. I can see in her mind, she's going, yeah, you're in this one, and she would change the title to Stubborn and Pig-headed. Before you stand up and heckle me, my dealer, with a love I'm just going to ignore it. I can be in this category sometimes. The last one is aware. People who know who they are, what they want to accomplish, and seek and value others' opinions. This is really kind of the sociology world, business, kind of the team building world. So really start to focus on this is the key, not only to being part of the team, but team leadership is fostering that community where everyone becomes approachable from the top to the bottom to collaborate. I think that's a pretty powerful way to think about these things. So, let's turn the gaze mirror. So I'm going to use me as an example and kind of walk through this. 5 lessons. First, I'm looking at myself. I'm adopted, blue-collar parents. I learned riding tidy, lefty-loosey. I did not learn anything about that. I valued hard work. My folks valued hard work and helping others humbly. They were braggarts. And I went to school, was a lawyer, but I hated to grind and not caring about what I was doing. I realized I was not really that motivated by money. And somewhere along the way, I picked up a camera and I started to travel. What did that teach me? Looking back on that, what have I learned from this? I learned that my phone sometimes overacts. I can get bored and distracted. I'm kind of a master of all trades, or jack of all trades, master of none. I just love new stuff, especially when it comes to design and creativity and building things. I do a little bit too much on myself. I need to work with others. I like to work in creative bursts. I do not do grinds well, which gets into me making choices about how I schedule my work. I clear gaps so I get the job done. I don't think I can squeeze it in, because I don't squeeze it in. I need to care about what I'm doing. I value causes. I love travel and change. I can wake up in a new place every morning and be happy. Preferably the one right next to me. And I love photography. I love the art of creativity. I love making something that's permanent, not just putting words on paper, putting papers in boxes, and collecting a check. That's helped to guide me a little bit, these realizations, as I move forward in my career. The second one's my career. I had initial successes, pretty good ones. I mean, national sort of awards and recognition, or blah, blah, blah. I did not pursue them well, in part because of my own lack of confidence, and distractions, probably. My goals weren't entirely focused. I got into sort of the stock image world, where it's a single image mentality, kind of traveling the world taking pictures. Ultimately, I found that's not to be fulfilling, or it's a really good business plan. I got lost in that industry change, and I got distracted by volunteering. And the next thing. Oh, what did I learn? I said I need to set clear goals and not get distracted. I need to learn to say no more often.
Preach.
All right, guilty. Just words I care about. And I need to promote myself better. If you've been on myself, I don't think I posted to Instagram for 4 years. I let others post the blame just Instagram for causes. And it's a thing. If you do want to follow me, I'm going to start. Of course, advocacy. We almost sued. I hate the way Instagram treated us. I can talk about this, but, they're kind of fighting it when you're trying to get them to change their ways, and so a little bit, but they changed some. We can talk about that later if you want. Last one is about those distractions. We did my wife, we built a house from scratch, ran out of money, and it really, really creative, and I fell in love with mid-century modern design, and the beauty of simplicity. It's so much help my photography to learn to simplify and distill. Oh my God. Why? I don't know. I'm kind of jumping my knee here, I suppose. I got involved in development, and I have to shout out some people here who are my heroes. Worked with others in development to try to save it during the bad times. Paula Nahian back here, who's also with the SEC, one of my heroes. Amazing community activist. She's now helping artists with St. Bash, she did development. Kelly Clements, oh my gosh,
Kelly's amazing.
Amazing leader. Built the development urban garden from scratch. And her husband Justin, same way, an activist, and for my money, the best photographer in the house. It inspires me every day. I got introduced to those people, and we learned together how to promote with no money and build gardens with no money, to guerrilla market with no money, to take art and artists and respect them and pay them and use them to promote something we all care about. That's worth something. I get into photography advocacy, these national groups, including trying to make copyright registration easier for us, because it's really effed up. Totally. So I'm trying to do it. If you want to talk about that, I'll tell you what I want to try to do in making progress in getting it. When I'm in DC doing that, that takes a lot of time. It's a distraction from my career. And my love of conservation, I've gotten, we'll talk about that a little bit more. I'm involved in a lot of conservation efforts, trying to save species and social, environmental justice and those kinds of things. Those are my distractions. What have I learned? I got more creative, obsessed with design. I learned how to collaborate with creatives, like my friends in development. Use real marketing and build communities. I learned how to influence public policy. And they're really important to me. I realized that what I really care about are global issues, but I'm taking my camera and I'm shooting locally. That's where I can make a difference. With me, that's where I make a difference. That's what really drives me. Really worth it to me to kind of have these self-realizations. The last one where I think you can do this exercise is to turn it onto your own art. And I did this through teaching. I think teaching photographers not to be, especially nature photographers, get rote, competitive. We all kind of fall in the trap. We see, we do, we copy. How do you make it your own? What I've kind of reduced it to for me, from self-reflection, is when I do my best work, I follow this path. One, I challenge myself. What is that something extra? Keep working. Work until I got that something extra in the end that actually integrates others, that creates a movement, that changes minds. And I realize I cannot do that by myself. Self-reflection, I realize I'm not good enough. I can't do that. I need to work with others. I need to work with designers. I need to work with t-shirt artists, and graphic designers, and muralists. And I need to work with other community organizations across the spectrum to change the way people think about things as simple. And my love is Texas prairie is one of them. We used to sit in the middle of 12 million acres of the greatest prairie in the world, Texas Blackland Prairie. You know how much is left? 5,000 acres. Oh. And we make conscious choices every day when we expand out across the prairies and we don't keep it. And that's going to come back to bite us. If I want to make a difference there, I've realized I can't do this myself. It's got to be something more than that. I can instigate and organize, but I have got to learn better how to collaborate with people like you. That's what I've learned through the process of self-reflection. So that's, did I actually hit my word? Is that 20 minutes?
You're good.
Am I close?
Yeah.
Really?